This is Max Shears for Pro Boxing Fans. I'm delighted to joined today by Duke Mckenzie, MBE. First of all, Duke, it's fight week. Best way to start Usyk Dubois. Are you excited?
I think like the nation, I'm so I'm so excited because I think this fight can't fail to deliver. It really can't. Daniel Dubois' headspace right now is exactly where it should be. He's full of confidence. They really believe in him, his team. I mean, there's no if, there's no buts, there's no maybes. They really believe that he's gonna be successful and pull this one off. And you know what? I'm pleased for Daniel Dubois. I really am. He's a world champion in his own right. He's got a belt to defend in his own right. We all know what he's up against, and that's the $1 million question, isn't it? Can he overcome Usyk?
Definitely. I want to take it back to almost your fighting days when you're coming into these world champion fights. The mentality, when you come to fight week, the biggest fight of your career, which it is for Daniel right now, what were the emotions? Was it nerves? Was it excitement? How can you almost get into Daniel's headspace right now?
But you know what? Daniel, obviously, we're different personalities,
Mm.
and Daniel Dubois' personality is, he's needed to be coached, and he's needed to be told how great he is. He's needed to be told that he's got to have self belief. Like I say, his backroom staff, his coach, and everybody else, they filled this boy full of confidence, and that's the sort of performance I think you're going to get from Daniel Dubois. If I go back to my own career, you know, all boxers doubt themselves. Even on fight day, you can doubt yourself, but it takes one word from one person, the right person, to ignite that fire in your belly. And once it's been lit, it's almost impossible to go out. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, on a personal level, it was my brother Dudley. I mean, come fight day, my coach Colin Smith, he had very little to say to me actually on fight day because we'd done it all in camp. We'd done it for the last however many weeks, months, years, training for specific fights. We'd done it all. Do you see what I mean? Colin didn't have to say to me, keep your hands up, keep your chin down, move this way, move that way. It was all the prep was all done. So it's not necessarily about tactics. It's all about motivation. It's not that on world title fight day you're not motivated. Of course you're motivated. You're motivated by the occasion. You're motivated by the opponent. You're motivated by the money. There's a whole string of things that will motivate you to fight. It's whether you can connect all the dots on fight night. But like I said, I think with Dubois, on a personal level, the team that he's surrounded himself with, his coach, and the backroom staff, as they like to be called, they're all positive, and they really believe that in Daniel Dubois, they believe he's going to win this fight. There's no doubt in their mind.
Definitely. And like I say about the work being done in training camp and in fight, it's not so much what you say, it's more just hoping it all comes together. What changes from that first fight did you think Daniel had to make? And do you think he is a different fighter now from 2023?
Well, Daniel Dubois simply matured as a grown man. He's grown as a man. He's matured. Like I say, his coach Don Charles just he keeps using old adages that you hear from Marvelous Marvin Hagler, the great Marvelous Marvin Hagler. Destroy and destruct. I won't be denied. These sort of terminologies you hear this regularly from Daniel Dubois, and that's what he really believes. I don't think for 1 minute Daniel Dubois is going to take a backward step in this fight.
Mm.
He's going to meet fire with fire, and he's going to come out all guns blazing. As I've said before, the only way I see Dubois winning this fight is if he makes it into an absolute bloodbath. He's got to be prepared to do things that nobody else has done to Usyk. Listen, Usyk is a maverick in this sport, and we all know that. We know how great he is, and we know what he does and what he doesn't do. There's very little that he doesn't do, Oleksandr Usyk. He shows you a jab, he hits you with a straight left. He shows you a straight left, he hits you with an uppercut. He can move you in, he can move you out. He moves you left and right. He's brilliant at what he does. He's taken his cruiserweight skills into the heavyweight division. He hasn't slowed down at all in putting on the bulk. He's bulked up a little bit. He hasn't slowed down. Everything is as it was. For Usyk, it's business as usual. This guy is so professional. I like to watch him. I like listening to him talk. I know he spoke with broken English, but you can kind of understand where he's coming from because, like I say, the headspace is the same. He's a world champion. I'm a former world champion. So we've walked a similar path. I like what he says. I love the way he carries himself. And Dubois not too far behind him in terms of personality. He just carries himself completely differently. He's very quiet, Daniel Dubois. But what he is now, he's very self-assured. He really believes in what he's doing. He believes in the team. And It comes down to, can he execute what they've said to him on Saturday night? Here lies the problem. In Oleksandr Usyk, this is what they're probably not banking on. We haven't seen the best of Usyk yet. I promise you, we have not seen the best of Oleksandr Usyk. You'll probably see the best on Saturday night, because I wouldn't be surprised if Usyk has to get up off the deck with a legitimate punch and win the fight. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if he does get cut and he has to box out of his skin because the fight might be too close to call. But I think what you're going to get from Usyk at the weekend, like I say, I would love to see Daniel Dubois pull this one off. The reality is, Usyk for me, he's still a couple of steps ahead of Daniel Dubois. If Dubois was fighting anybody else, I've said this so many times, I'd back him, because I think Daniel Dubois is ahead of the field. You've got Oleksandr Usyk, then you've got Dubois, then you've got the also-rans. Do you see what I mean? If this is a race. So if Dubois is fighting anybody else, he's coming out on Saturday as a winner. I'm not so sure on Saturday night he comes out as a winner.
Definitely. And you speak about the test of Oleksandr Usyk and his greatness, and even you touch on how he might be even better than what we've seen so far. In your opinion, where does Oleksandr Usyk stack up against heavyweights, the greats of the heavyweights of the past eras?
Well, listen, like I said, I'm an Usyk fan. He's a modern day great. He's, in my eyes, not an all-time great. Joe Louis defended the world heavyweight title 25 times over an 11-year period. Even Klitschko, right, defended the world title over a 9-year period. I think 11 times or 12 times, maybe even more than that. I have to go and do a bit of research on Klitschko. But he defended the title so many times. I'm not even going to talk about Muhammad Ali. When you start talking about the great fighters of the heavyweight division, Lennox Lewis, Evander Holyfield, Mike Tyson, the prime, the big boys, the real big boys, I don't personally believe Usyk would beat those guys, because they were genuine big heavyweights who could fight at pace. Could you imagine Usyk against Evander Holyfield at either cruiserweight or even heavyweight? I mean, that's mouth-watering, and that's a fight. That's a fight you'd love to see. That's a fantasy fight, isn't it? Because obviously it could never happen. But like I say, Usyk for me is a modern-day great, not an all-time great. The guys I've just mentioned, really, they're in a different league. And I would almost hasten to add that I bet Usyk could still make cruiserweight. I bet he can still make the cruiserweight limit. But it's taken a cruiserweight to jump up to the heavyweight and show these boys what it's really all about. Very few heavyweights can fight at a frenetic pace for 12 rounds. But this is what Daniel Dubois is promising. He's saying, whatever Usyk does, I'm going to meet him. Not halfway, I'm going to meet him all the way. And he's going to have to go for 12 rounds, for three 3-minute rounds, for 36 minutes. He can't afford to switch off, because if he switches off, then Usyk will switch him off.
Yeah, definitely. And you speak about Usyk stepping up from cruiserweight. I was wondering, the people before Usyk that was kind of running that division, you had Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, and Anthony Joshua. Obviously, there's a lot of questions about Daniel Dubois, and he is only 27, and I imagine a lot of these questions will get answered on Saturday night. But where do you think Daniel Dubois right now, at the peak of his career, stacks up maybe against a Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua a few years ago?
Beats them all.
Okay.
Beats all of them. Knocks Wilder into next Tuesday. He's already dealt with Joshua. I tell you something, if he fights Fury, it's game over. He'll smash him to pieces. I've got no doubt. This version of Daniel Dubois, in my opinion, he makes one fundamental mistake. There's no head movement from Daniel Dubois. You never see Dubois roll with the shots, step off, slip shots. That's not his style. Daniel Dubois he fights with his face. He likes to meet you halfway, and he's just on you all the time. Listen, he may change his style at the weekend. You might see Daniel Dubois bob and weave, roll in, roll out, block shots, because he's going to have to. Because Usyk, when he starts the combinations, they start coming out in 3s and 4s. Might not be the first one that gets you, but there's a 3rd, there's a 4th, and possibly even a 5th punch on the way. It's whether Dubois can get out of the way of these shots. I don't think Daniel Dubois is fragile in any way, shape, or form, because, like I said, I think he's matured now. He has the mental fortitude of knowing if he goes down, the best thing to do, take your knee, look to your corner, and wait for instructions. You don't try and get up just to beat the count when your head's buzzing. You try and get up at like maybe 8, no later than 9, then you're on your feet. When the referee takes a step towards you, try and take a step around the referee, because that'll buy you another few valuable seconds. You got to know how to play the game a little bit. But I think that, like I say, with Dubois, I just think that for work rate and work rate alone, Usyk's head and shoulders. Usyk doesn't tire. Usyk doesn't get knocked down. I don't think I've seen him cut in a fight. He's never been wobbled in a fight. All these questions might be answered on Saturday night because, like I say, the way Dubois is talking, he's going to have to fight the absolute fight of his life and leave every ounce of energy in that ring. He can't come out of that ring. He can't walk out of that ring. They've got to carry him out of that ring. He's got to leave every ounce of energy in that ring on Saturday night and then be claimed undisputed world champion.
Yeah, definitely. It needs to be quite Usyk not being wobbled and him not tiring. Do you think at any chance that the age at 38 might creep into that now, or do you think Usyk we're going to still see the very best Oleksandr Usyk on Saturday night?
Well, unfortunately for Dubois, age doesn't play a part with Usyk. There are miles on his clock, certainly. To show me a heavyweight that hasn't. But he's so great at what he does in how to he disguises it. When he's tired, he knows how to take a breather, but you don't know he's tired because he doesn't show you that he's tired. That's the sign of a good champion. Like I say, we've never seen him cut. You've never seen him go like that, oh mate, I'm cut. I've got to come from behind or I'm cut. The referee might look to stop the fight. We haven't seen that with Usyk. We might see it on Saturday. Never seen him go down. Have you ever seen Oleksandr Usyk wobbled with a shot? Nobody's ever hit him and hurt him. We don't know. We don't know just how good this man is because A, he's unbeaten, and B, we haven't seen none of the above that I've mentioned. So maybe on Saturday nights, those questions and more will be answered.